Have you ever had one of those days where everything seems to go wrong? You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. Your phone buzzes, a text from a colleague criticizing your latest work. Meanwhile, the barista at your favorite coffee shop gets your order wrong. Frustration builds. Anger simmers. It feels like the universe is conspiring against you. But is it really? The real problem isn't the traffic, the text, or the coffee. It's how you react to them. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers discovered powerful principles to help us stay calm, focused, and unbothered by external chaos. In this video, I'm going to share 7 Stoic principles that will train your mind to remain unshaken, no matter what life throws your way. Well, let's dive in. 1. Control the space between stimulus and response. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Every time something happens, you have 2 choices. React like a hot-headed fool or respond like someone in control. Most people let their emotions hijack their brains, reacting without thinking. But here's the truth. There's always a moment, a tiny gap between what happens and how you respond. And that gap, that's where your power lies. When you stop, take a breath, and think before you react, you take back control. No more knee-jerk reactions that lead to regret. No more pointless arguments that drain your energy. Over time, this rewires your brain to default to clarity over chaos. Picture this. You're in a meeting, making a solid point, and someone rudely cuts you off. Your gut reaction? Snap back, prove them wrong. But what if you just pause? Take a deep breath. Lock eyes with them and say, "I'll finish my point, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts." Boom. The power dynamic just flipped. You control the room now. I had a friend who loved to make passive-aggressive jabs at my choices. My old self would have fired back with sarcasm. But one day I tried something different. I just stared at him, gave a slight smirk, and said nothing. The silence stretched, awkward as hell. Guess what? He stopped making those comments. Sometimes silence is the loudest response. Mastering this isn't just about dodging unnecessary fights, it's about becoming unshakable. The more you practice control, the stronger you get. You stop letting people pull your strings. You stop needing to win pointless battles because you realize winning isn't about proving something, it's about keeping your peace. Long term, this turns into self-respect on steroids. You stop letting petty things dictate your emotions. You stop being a puppet to other people's nonsense. Instead, you become the kind of person who owns their reactions, their peace, and their power. And that's what real strength looks like. 2. Focus only on what you can control. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within your control, and some things are not. Epictetus. One of the biggest sources of anxiety is worrying about things we cannot change. Other people's opinions, the economy, or unexpected setbacks. However, when we shift our focus to what we can control, we reclaim our power and eliminate unnecessary stress. Stoicism teaches that true freedom lies in directing our energy toward what we can influence. Our thoughts, our actions, and our mindset. When you stop wasting energy on external events, you become more efficient, more at peace, and less affected by distractions. By narrowing your focus to your own actions and decisions, you create a sense of stability and control in your life. Imagine you are preparing for an important job interview. You can't control whether the interviewer will be in a bad mood, the competition you face, or the final hiring decision. But you can control how well you prepare, how you present yourself, and how confident you are. Instead of stressing over the outcome, focus on performing your best. This mindset shift helps reduce anxiety and allows you to navigate life's uncertainties with greater ease. I once had a colleague who constantly spread negativity in the workplace. Initially, I let it affect me, feeling frustrated every day. But then I realized I couldn't control his attitude, only my own. So I focused on maintaining my professionalism and choosing not to engage in toxic discussions. At the same time, I started surrounding myself with positive colleagues and dedicating my energy to meaningful projects. Over time, my emotional well-being improved, and the negativity lost its grip on me. Eventually, my shift in focus even influenced others, as they too became less affected by his behavior. Mastering this principle leads to profound psychological resilience. Instead of being a victim of external events, you become the architect of your own peace. When you accept that some things are beyond your influence, you no longer waste energy on them. This mental clarity allows you to focus on self-improvement, meaningful goals, and personal growth. By practicing this daily, you build a stronger sense of self-worth. You stop seeking external validation and start defining success on your own terms. The more you embrace this mindset, the less external chaos can disturb your inner peace. True power is not about controlling the world, it's about controlling how you respond to it. 3. Stop suffering from imaginary pains. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Most of the misery in your head, it's self-inflicted. Your brain loves to play out worst-case scenarios, tricking you into believing disaster is always around the corner. But here's the truth. Most of your fears will never happen. And even if they do, you'll survive. Your mind is your battleground, and right now, you're losing to ghosts. You worry about things that don't exist. You stress over problems that haven't even happened. But when you focus on what's real, what's right in front of you, you take back control. Worrying about made-up disasters is like carrying an umbrella every day because you're terrified it might rain. Drop it. I once had a major presentation to deliver at work. For days, my brain tortured me with every possible failure. What if I forget my words? What if my boss thinks I'm incompetent? I spiraled. But when the moment came, guess what? None of it happened. I nailed it. All that time spent stressing, completely wasted. A friend of mine did the same thing. Constantly paranoid his relationship was falling apart, even though nothing was wrong. He acted defensive, insecure, and distant because of fears he created. When he finally addressed it head-on, he realized it was all in his head. He was his own worst enemy. Here's the truth. If you keep feeding imaginary fears, they'll own you. The moment you stop giving them power, they disappear. Mental strength isn't about avoiding problems. It's about facing what's real and ignoring the nonsense. Stop making life harder than it needs to be. Letting go of imaginary suffering is a power move. It's you telling your mind, I'm in charge here. It's knowing that when real challenges come, you'll handle them, not waste energy on illusions. And over time, you'll laugh at the things you used to stress over, wondering why you ever let them get to you in the first place. 4th, accept impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. Joy, sadness, success, failure, all things come and go. Stoics teach us that resisting change leads to suffering, while embracing impermanence brings peace. Everything in life is transient, and the more we accept this, the less emotionally volatile we become. By understanding that no situation, good or bad, lasts forever, we gain mental clarity and resilience. Instead of clinging to past successes or fearing inevitable failures, we learn to navigate life's ups and downs with composure. I once lost an opportunity that I had spent months working toward. At first, I was devastated. I replayed every decision in my head, wondering what I could have done differently. But as time passed, I realized that new opportunities arose, ones I wouldn't have noticed if I had remained stuck in regret. Looking back, that loss was just a stepping stone to something greater. Another example is relationships. Many people struggle with breakups, unable to move forward because they resist the reality that relationships, like everything else, change. When you accept that people come and go, you stop trying to force permanence in an impermanent world, and this acceptance leads to true emotional freedom. Accepting impermanence does not mean detachment or indifference. It means living fully in the present without fearing change. When you internalize this principle, setbacks become less painful, and you appreciate moments of joy without clinging to them. This mindset builds self-respect because you stop defining yourself by external circumstances. Whether you win or lose, succeed or fail, you remain centered, knowing that nothing defines you except how you respond to change. If something is bothering you today, ask yourself, will this matter a year from now? Most of the time, the answer is no. When you embrace change, nothing can truly disturb you. 5. Stop seeking validation. You are not here to live up to everyone's expectations. Many people spend their lives trying to gain approval from others, seeking validation through praise, social acceptance, or material success. However, Stoic philosophy teaches that external validation is fleeting and unreliable. When you depend on others to define your worth, you surrender your sense of self to forces beyond your control. The Stoics believed that the only validation that matters comes from within. If you act according to your values and principles, external opinions become irrelevant. The more you detach from the need for approval, the freer and more self-assured you become. I once had a close friend who constantly changed their opinions and actions based on what others thought. They hesitated to pursue their true passions because they feared judgment. When they finally decided to follow their own path, despite criticism from family and friends, they discovered a newfound confidence. They realized that true satisfaction comes from aligning with one's own values, not from pleasing others. Similarly, I used to struggle with the fear of disappointing people. Whether it was at work or in personal relationships, I felt pressured to meet everyone's expectations. But the more I tried, the more exhausted I became. One day I asked myself, am I living for others or for myself? That shift in perspective helped me let go of unnecessary obligations and prioritize what truly mattered. Letting go of the need for validation is one of the most liberating practices you can adopt. When you stop chasing approval, you gain control over your emotions and decisions. You develop self-respect, independence, and unshakable confidence. By focusing on your inner values instead of external opinions, you build a resilient mindset. You stop measuring success by how many people approve of you and start defining it on your own terms. This shift not only reduces stress and insecurity, but also empowers you to live authentically. At the end of the day, ask yourself, did I stay true to my principles? If the answer is yes, that's the only validation you'll ever need. 6th, stay silent when necessary. The best way to win an argument is to avoid it altogether. Not every battle is worth fighting. People will try to provoke you, seeking a reaction. But Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in restraint. When we engage in unnecessary arguments, we give away our power and peace of mind. However, silence can be a powerful tool. It forces others to reflect on their behavior and prevents us from being dragged into negativity. Instead of responding impulsively, choosing silence allows you to maintain dignity and avoid unnecessary conflict. It also signals confidence and emotional intelligence, showing that you are in control of your reactions rather than being controlled by external circumstances. I once worked with a colleague who would frequently make sarcastic and passive-aggressive remarks during meetings. My initial instinct was to defend myself, but every time I engaged, it only fueled more negativity. One day I decided to try something different. I simply remained silent. Instead of justifying or reacting, I let the awkwardness settle. Over time, my colleague stopped making those remarks, realizing that he wasn't getting the reaction he wanted. Another example is social media conflicts. How often have you seen people get caught in endless debates online? Instead of engaging in digital arguments, choosing silence can protect your peace and prevent unnecessary stress. By not responding, you deprive negativity of the attention it thrives on. Practicing silence isn't about weakness or avoidance. It's about choosing your battles wisely. When you learn to stay silent in unnecessary conflicts, you conserve your energy for things that truly matter. This not only reduces stress, but also strengthens your self-respect and emotional resilience. Over time, this practice cultivates a sense of inner peace and control. You become less reactive, more composed, and immune to external provocations. Silence, when used wisely, becomes a shield against negativity and a declaration of strength. Ask yourself, is this argument worth my peace? If the answer is no, let silence be your response. 7. Practice daily reflection. Each night before you sleep, ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I do better? Daily reflection is one of the most powerful tools for self-improvement. The Stoics believe that evaluating your actions, thoughts, and emotions helps cultivate wisdom and resilience. By taking a few moments at the end of each day to assess your decisions, you create a habit of continuous learning and self-correction. Self-awareness strengthens emotional control. When you review your day, you identify moments where you reacted impulsively, where you displayed patience, and where you could have handled things better. This insight prepares you to face similar situations with greater composure in the future. I once had a habit of letting small inconveniences ruin my mood. If a coworker made a passive-aggressive comment or a stranger cut me off in traffic, I carried that frustration throughout the day. But when I started practicing nightly reflection, I began recognizing these patterns. Each night, I would ask myself, did my reaction serve me? Over time, I became more mindful of my responses, and those small triggers lost their power over me. Another example is a friend who kept feeling stuck in his career. He started journaling about his work experiences every evening. By reflecting on what made him feel fulfilled versus drained, he eventually realized he needed a job that aligned better with his values. This small habit led to a major career shift that brought him greater satisfaction and peace of mind. Practicing daily reflection isn't just about analyzing mistakes, it's about celebrating progress. Each time you acknowledge a moment where you exercise restraint, patience, or confidence, you reinforce your self-worth. Over time, this habit fosters self-respect and clarity. You stop repeating destructive patterns and start making intentional choices. You develop a deep understanding of yourself, leading to greater emotional stability and inner peace. Ask yourself every night, what did I learn today? Did I stay true to my values? How can I improve tomorrow? By embracing daily reflection, you take control of your personal growth, ensuring that each day contributes to a wiser, stronger, and more resilient version of yourself. Life will always challenge you, but you have the power to remain unshaken. If you apply these principles, nothing can disturb your peace. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And tell me in the comments, which principle resonates with you the most? Remember, your mind is your fortress. Defend it well. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video. Together, let's build a community rooted in wisdom, resilience, and growth. See you in the next video.